Going up against another team, Jeffrey Moore has open access to the bucket. What you saw from that normal replay of that last bit of action was Mon Fernandez actually wanting to dish off the against pass to Jaworski. We're crossing the twilight zone. That's an eternity of basketball ahead of us.
Ito po ang An Eternity of Basketball. And before we begin episode 159, we tell you about the different shows on our network. Who the Heck Are We? With their latest guest, Nick Caballero, the UST star. Check them out. Check that show out. Most trending episodes on YouTube. Number one, still JV Gayoso. Bunch of those younger players. And then all the way down to Nilo Cruz at number 10. Which one is your favorite? Keep watching us on YouTube. Check out the Globally Ballin Network for original articles, audio, and video projects. GloballyBallin.com is the website to head to. And you can watch us live on Twitter as well. The Globally Ballin page, Twitter page. We're live streaming there right now. So if you're watching on Twitter, hello to everyone there. Follow us on social media. Linktree/GloballyBallin for easy access. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Charlie Cuna together with Jay Mercado and Sid Ventura on this first episode of 2023, guys. So 2023, we're still here at Eternity of Basketball. Let's get right into it. Yung first guest for this season or for this year of AEOB was an import for Tanduay and Crispa back in the late 70s. But he was an NBA player for the Buffalo Braves, played with Bob McAdoo. And, of course, he put VCU, Virginia Commonwealth, on the map as a great player over there before being drafted in both the NBA and the ABA. And then he went on to a career in Finland, playing pro ball after here in the Philippines, and became a Hall of Famer in Finland. So we're going to talk about all of that. And because it's 4 a.m. where he is in Finland, we have to get right into it. So let's bring him in now. They called him Super Nard back in the day, but we call him Bernard. Bernard Harris, welcome to our show, Bernard. Thank you for coming on. Happy New Year.
Well, good morning, and thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. So Bernard, you know, it's been a while since you've been here in the Philippines, but we're going to go back in time even farther than that. How'd you get into basketball over there in Roanoke, Virginia?
Well, I started out as a baseball player when I was young, and I was growing so fast. And I just started growing, and people started to, kind of bug me about playing basketball. You need to be playing basketball, or why you're not playing basketball. And so I mean, we played pickup games and stuff like that. I wasn't really big on basketball, and basically part of it was because you had to wear short pants in
Mhm.
basketball, and I had skinny legs. So,
Chicken legs.
so yeah, yep,
And
exactly,
the
exactly.
shorts were really short back then.
Yeah, and tight.
The sh- the, the shorts were shorts, for sure, for sure.
Right, right. Well, what position did you play when you played baseball? What is your position?
Okay.
I was a pitcher.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. And I guess I would say that maybe the pitching helped me with my shooting touch in
Mhm.
basketball
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I've always been a good shooter. Ever since I picked the
Mhm.
ball up, I
Okay.
was pretty much able to be a good shooter.
Great. And then you started playing competitive basketball in high school.
yeah.
I started in high school. Well, I was going to. I started out in an all black school when I was in I guess it was junior high school. We were in an
Mhm.
all black school, and then we had the integration and all of this, and we were forced to go to a white school, which was North Side. And
Okay.
once I got to North Side, I was I think 15 at the time. That's when I actually started playing and started on a junior varsity. The first year, I really wasn't good at all because I, like I said, I didn't want to play,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and I came back my sophomore year, and for some reason, for what I don't know now, I could actually play the game. And
Mm.
from there, in my sophomore season, I was like one of the best players in high school in our area,
Okay.
and I still can't figure it out.
How
Well,
I
tall
yeah.
were
watched.
you back then? How
How
tall were
tall?
you back then? Yeah.
I was probably about 6'8", 6'9",
Oh, okay.
almost the same as I am now. I was about
Wow.
almost this tall when I was 16
But
years old.
Okay.
Mhm.
when you were still a baseball player, they said you suddenly grew tall. How many inches growth are we
No,
we
I didn't.
talking
I
about?
didn't sudden. I didn't suddenly grow tall.
Oh, you were already
I've
tall. Okay.
always been tall for my age. So this is why I
Mm.
didn't have any growing pains or anything like
Uh-huh.
that. So that
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
that wasn't a problem.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
it's
if
very
you had
similar here in the Philippines. If you're tall
yeah,
here in the Philippines, they're gonna tell you play
yeah,
basketball.
yeah,
Because you don't
Yeah,
waste your height.
yeah.
I think it's all over the world.
Hmm.
And for me, playing basketball helped me in many different on many different levels. First of all, it improves my health. When I was younger, I had asthma, and
Okay.
so I
Mm.
was sick all the time. I had bronchitis, pneumonia. I was like in and out of the hospital all the time. And once I started to play basketball on a regular basis, the within a couple of years, the asthma went away,
Hmm.
and I haven't had a problem with it
Hmm.
since.
Oh, that's great. That's good.
Look,
Mhm.
Brian, if you had stuck with baseball, you think you would have achieved the same level of success as you did in basketball?
I that's a tough question because I didn't really get to practice it like I did basketball.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So I didn't really get to carry on with it, but I was a decent pitcher at the time. I was tall and I had a nice touch on the ball, pretty good fastball for a young kid. Uh, I'm it's that's hard to say. That's really
Hmm.
No,
hard to say.
yeah, I was just
Yeah,
thinking you could have been Randy Johnson before Randy
Exactly.
Johnson.
Before Randy
exactly.
Johnson.
Before
An
Yeah.
earlier
before Randy
version.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh,
yeah,
uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah. And then how does a guy playing at Northside did VCU recruit you? Did people come
Yeah.
over from VCU and tell you, yeah, come
Oh
on
yeah,
over?
yeah. because in my senior year in high school, I was one of the top players in the state of Virginia. I made also the all Southern team, which means I was one of the best players in the southern part of the United States. So I had like many schools trying to recruit me. Big schools, North Carolina, UCLA sent me letters. Most of the top schools were trying to recruit me.
Mhm. Okay. And
And
what
how?
made you decide? Yeah, what made you decide to stay home? I mean, to stay in the state, in state.
Well, I kind of wanted to. I didn't want to really leave the state, um, and I went for a visit to VCU, and I met a lot of guys that I really liked, and we had fun on our visit, and I decided to go there.
Nice, nice. And, Jay, you were going to
It
ask
was
something?
it was a lot of people were questioning, why would I go there? Because VCU was really a small school at the time.
Right.
Mhm.
They hadn't made a name for themselves, and I had the opportunity, like I said, to go to bigger schools. But for some reason, I chose VCU.
Hmm, hmm.
And at 6'8" or 6'9", you were playing forward already by then?
At 6'9", during that time, I was definitely a center.
Okay, all right.
Center. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Back during those days, if you're that tall, you are definitely a center.
Yeah.
A post-up
Okay.
one.
There was no doubt about it.
Hmm.
Okay.
And you were
But
posting up.
I was posting up, shooting a hook shot
mhm.
Okay,
at
really?
the time.
Okay. Okay.
Shooting, shooting a hook shot. I had a jump shot.
That's what I
Didn't
remember.
have I didn't have many like actual ball handling moves. I became a really good ball handler later uh,
Hmm.
in my playing days, but after I got most of my ball handling skills in college.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, posting up, turn around, jump and shoot hook shots, that kind of stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
go,
Okay.
go, go,
You
Sid.
mentioned, yeah. No, you mentioned you were recruited by North Carolina.
Yes.
Bernard. Yeah. So you got a visit from the great Dean Smith, or a call, or
I got a call and some letters.
Hmm.
I didn't go for the visit. But yeah, they were certainly interested.
Right. Right. Yeah. So we're talking about already in your college career at VCU. No, I think it's the perfect time to enter into what
yeah.
we call the time capsule here on our show. The time capsule. We're going to show you a bunch of photos that Sid prepared. This portion of time capsule is brought to us by Champ's House of Chicken. Check out their house roast chicken, Bernard. If you ever come to the Philippines, we're going to let you try this house roast chicken from Champ's House of Chicken. Really good stuff. So you can contact the Champs House of Chicken, have delivered all their goodies at these that number over there in their Facebook and their Instagram. They deliver all over Metro Manila, Cavite, and Laguna. Okay, let's enter into the time capsule. Photo number one. There you are. Of course, there's
Hmm.
VCU on the right. The one on the left is on the Buffalo Braves already. So you're at VCU. You meet coach. His name is Chuck, right? Chuck No.
Yes, Chuck.
And
No,
was your
Chuck.
coach?
No.
What kind of a coach was Chuck No? And what did he tell you when you came on board?
Chuck No was a really tough coach.
Hmm.
He was tough, like old school tough. You had to be ready before practice. Like 10 minutes before practice, you're already sweating. He was really tough, but he was a good coach. Um, Helped me out, like I said, with my skills, probably my toughness as well. And he didn't take any mess. But I have fond memories of Coach No.
Did you start right away, or did you come off the bench?
No, I didn't start right away. I
Okay,
had to prove myself.
all right.
Mhm,
I started out on the freshman team because
Okay.
we had a couple of guys coming in. One was playing my position from New York City,
Oh.
and Coach No told me that because I came from Roanoke, a small town, that I wasn't ready to play, against the ahead of the New York City guys.
Okay.
We had 3 guys from New York City on our team, so
Mhm.
I had to actually prove myself,
Mhm.
and I had a lot of confidence in myself.
Mhm.
So let's put it like this: I had a lot of confidence in my shot,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I knew that if I got the playing time, I'm going to make some shots, and I know if I'm going to make some shots, I'm going to get to play. Uh, and I was also not a bad. I was a good rebounder,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and I was a pretty good shot blocker.
Right,
So
right.
with those combinations, I knew sooner or later that I would get to play.
Mhm. All right. And
Did
then
you?
the
But
start. Oh, go ahead.
I was known more for my. I think I was known more for my shooting
Mhm.
than
Yes,
anything.
yes.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's how we remember you here as well.
Yeah,
Sid,
yeah.
Sid, you were gonna
Yeah.
say?
No. Who were the the top players who went up against during your college run from other schools?
I let's see. There was at the time. You remember Robert Parrish?
Oh
Yes.
Right.
yes,
The chief.
Yeah.
Centenary.
right behind
We
me.
played against. He went to
Cent-
Centenary University.
Centenary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Centenary.
Yeah, we played them. I scored I think 31 points on him
Wow.
in college.
Incredible.
And
Nice.
then there was the ones I remember. There was Fly Williams
Mhm.
out of
Yeah.
New York City,
That's
who
right.
went
Yeah.
to Austin P.
Austin P. Yeah.
Mm.
He was the leading scorer in the nation at the time.
Right, right.
Those are the 2 I remember the most.
Yeah.
Oh, just off the top of my head.
Fly Williams.
Did you play against the Bill Walton, UCLA, that bunch?
No, no,
No.
Oh,
no,
never
we
got a
didn't.
chance.
We didn't. No,
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Fly
it
Williams.
was hard.
That guy was became an ABA legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, with
Yes, yes, yes.
Spirits of St. Louis.
St.
Yeah.
Louis.
We actually became good friends. So
Oh, all right.
I played with him in the Eastern League,
Okay.
which would now be considered the what is it, the G League?
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was a
okay.
semi-pro league. Yeah. So Fly was in that, and I was in that, and we became friends.
Do you recall any, like, what are your greatest games in your VCU career? Anything you like? Of course, you scored 31 points. You said against Centenary, but what's a game that stands out that you like went head to head with some great player on the other team, and you guys won or something like that?
That game,
Hmm.
Okay.
that game,
Mhm.
That's
that
the
game
game. That's
stands out
Mhm.
the most in my mind because Robert Parrish is a Hall of Fame player.
Hmm.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, so that game is the one that stands out in my mind.
Did he talk to you at all during the game, or was he
No,
quiet? The same way they
no,
portray him until now.
no, he didn't. He didn't have much to say at all.
Yeah.
The thing that my advantage in that game was the fact that he was a great center
Mhm.
and great around the basket, blocking shots and stuff like that. But like most big guys during that time, he didn't want to come outside the lane to play
Mhm.
defense.
Mhm.
Okay.
So if you didn't come outside the lane to play defense, I'm going to score.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So that was the key to that.
Hmm.
Do you remember how many he scored? You got 31. How many did he have?
I would say he probably scored around maybe 20,
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
somewhere
So you.
between 20 and 25.
Mhm.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's
He
good
was,
How
I
were you
mean,
able to defend?
he was,
Go on.
how was I able to defend him?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I was a tall guy, and he was a little stronger than me.
Mhm.
But I would try to keep him guessing as to where I was. Like I said, I was a decent shot blocker.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I was tall, so I could get up in high enough to give him problems on his shots. And that was pretty much the key to that. And I'm sure we might have played some zone defense against them.
Yeah. Okay. At what point in
I'm not.
your at what point in your college career, Bernard, did you think that why was it part of your intention or your objective to make it to the NBA? I mean, and when did you feel that you had a chance?
I think in every young player's, even during that time, I think in every young player's mind, that's the goal. I mean, we watched the NBA on TV. There was only like one game coming on per week, but actually, that's how I learned how to shoot a basketball. I was watching games from the NBA, and then going out right after the game and emulating guys that I'm watching shoot. Watching guys like Jerry West and those guys shooting the ball. So that's how I learned that. I taught myself how to shoot. Um, but yeah, of course, in every young guy's mind, there's the thought of maybe I would love to go to the NBA. But I think that when I started to think about it was probably in my sophomore year in college, and I was a pretty good player then. I believe I made All State in Virginia, which means I was one of the better players in the state, even as a sophomore in college. So of course, people start talking, and you hear things, and I played with a really good guard, Jesse Dark.
Yeah.
And Jesse was just a super athlete. Really good at that time. He was a big two guard. He was about 6'4", 210 pounds, and at that time, that was big for a guard. So I got a lot of attention playing beside him, and we were like the 1-2 scoring punch for VCU.
That's right.
He got
That's right.
he got drafted. I want to say he went in the first round to the New York Knicks.
Okay.
He was their first pick in 1974 draft. Jesse Dark.
Yeah. He averaged 23 points a game in your last year, I think. And then
Okay.
you were like about just a little under 20 and about 12 rebounds. Those were your
Yeah,
average.
yeah, we were a good combination. I
Yeah.
probably I was just thinking. I always laugh. I probably would have averaged, having not played beside him or with him, I would have probably averaged. I would average around 25 points a game,
Right.
something like that. But it was fun playing with him. We became roommates. We were roommates, best friends. So he was one of the reasons that actually I went to VCU.
Okay.
He came to
Wow.
visit me during the summer and stayed with me, and so we became really good friends.
Nice.
Yeah, it says here he was drafted 32nd overall, second round by the Knicks
Okay.
in the
Okay, he was their first. He was
1974
their,
draft.
he was their first pick, right?
Yeah. In the
Yeah,
second round.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
They
they didn't have
didn't
a
have
pick
Yeah,
in the first. Yeah.
they didn't have a first round pick probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. They
Um,
they didn't have they
yeah.
didn't have a first round pick, so he went in the second round. But
Yeah.
as
So
you know, they had a lot of rounds back
yeah,
during those
yeah, they used to
days.
go 8, 9, 10. Yeah, the
Yeah.
hundreds of players
Yeah,
were being
yeah,
drafted back then. But and
yes.
then so you did get your chance as well. When you were finally eligible for the NBA draft, Bernard, in 1974. Did some teams send you some feelers to say that we might draft you? Was there a possibility you knew where you were going to end up?
No, I had no idea where I would end up. The Harlem Globetrotters were also trying to recruit me,
Oh wow!
and I turned that down as well.
So there was lots of options. There
What?
was an NBA option. There was an
There was
ABA
there was there was
option.
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
there was some options, but not as many options as players have nowadays.
Right.
There were some options. I played for before the draft. I was on one U.S. national team,
Right. Right.
and we did a tour of the Soviet Union at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in Moscow, Riga, Kiev,
Yeah.
Tallinn, and what was St. Petersburg was
St. Petersburg.
Leningrad at the
Mm-hmm.
time. It
Leningrad.
was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leningrad at the time. Yeah. So we did a tour of that and played. I think we played 9 games maybe, and we won 11 out of 9. We had a really good team. There was guys like Mickey Johnson,
Uh-huh.
uh, Truck Robinson, Brian
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Winters.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, Larry Brown was the head coach. George Carl was an assistant coach, and
Wow.
Okay.
so was Doug. So was Doug Moe.
Yo, North Carolina
Mm-hmm.
guys.
Carolina boys. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Carolina
All
boys.
all Carolina guys.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Well, what was that
So
experience like? I mean, Soviet basketball at that time,
Cold War.
they had just it was just like 2 years after they beat the United States for the gold medal. So,
Mm-hmm.
was there any animosity between the
of course, of
two?
course, of course there was, of course there was. And the games were, the stadiums were packed with people, and it was. I mean, it was a little scary.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Uh,
I'm sure.
so, but yeah, but we ended up we only lost 2 games. It was tough times though, staying in those hotels. I mean, it was cold, the beds were small, the food was bad. Then we had to fly on Aeroflot. If you remember
Mm-hmm.
Aeroflot,
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
Aeroflot's, all the big guys' seats were so small.
Mm-hmm.
It was tough. It was tough.
And
And
and how?
I'll tell
Yeah.
you a funny story from that trip.
Uh-huh.
We were standing outside the hotel. There was, I think, Buck Robinson, Leonard Gray, maybe Jesse Dark, and I'm not sure, Mickey Johnson. There was a couple other guys. Anyway, we were all tall black guys, and there was a Russian lady. She was coming down, and she was an older lady. She might have been in her 80s, something, and she saw us standing in front of the hotel, and she stopped and she stared at us for, I don't know, man, seemed like eternity, maybe 10 minutes. She just stopped and stared at us. And I guess she had never seen any tall black guys like us. And after 10 minutes, she walked across the street. She stopped and she stared another 5 minutes.
Wow.
And yeah, and that was wild. That was wild. And I can imagine what she must have said when she got home.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
probably thought it was
She
some
had.
some some alien invasion or something.
Yeah. She had a story for her family when she got home
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly, exactly. So that still stands out in my mind.
How are you? How'd you get on that team, Bernard? Were there tryouts or were you just called to be on that team?
Yeah.
I was at the time, I had played in the what was it? It was called the Portsmouth tournament.
Okay.
And
Portsmouth. Yeah.
Portsmouth tournament, yeah,
Yeah.
Portsmouth. And I think Portsmouth Invitational. I think
Invitational,
Yeah.
it's
right?
still being yeah, I think it's still being played in
Hmm.
Portsmouth, Virginia. And I played in that. They had a lot of NBA scouts there and all this stuff. A lot of future NBA players and things like that. And I played in that, and I twisted my ankle
Oh.
pretty bad. So I was at home recuperating. Jesse Dark, my teammate, they had already chosen him, and everybody was uh, there, and they were in Chapel Hill in North Carolina. I was at home recovering, and I was about 85%. And Coach No called me, and he said, get your stuff together and get your passport together. and I'm coming to pick you up, and I'm going to drive you to Chapel Hill. There's a team that I want you to be on, and that's how I got on the team. Coach Noah was friends with Dean Smith. Dean Smith, of course, there was a North Carolina connection with Larry Brown and all those, and I ended up on the team.
Nice. Okay.
So that's pretty much the story on how I got on the team. Somebody had gotten injured, and they needed a replacement, and so Coach No got me in. Yeah.
Is that the same trip? The trip to Russia when you played with that national team? Is that the same trip you also passed by Finland?
It's the same trip. We were so anxious to get out of the Soviet Union that when we flew back to Finland to play the Finnish national team 2 games. And when we got back to Finland, it was in June. It was during June, before the draft. And the weather here was warm. There was like a lot of daylight, almost 24 hours of daylight. It was warm, and so I had fond memories of Finland when we were here.
Yeah, and later, of course, you went back there. But in the meantime, you get drafted into the NBA. That's the picture on the left. That's the Buffalo Braves photo that you have. How did you find out that you were drafted? There were no TV, drafts being held like they do it now. So how did you find out?
Phone call.
Phone call. Okay.
Phone call, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much phone call. And that's how I found out. Same thing with the Virginia Squires. Phone call. I used to actually go watch the Squires play because they were in Richmond, Virginia. They were based out of Richmond, Virginia. And I saw Dr. J in his first training camp. They had their first training camp at VCU campus. And I got to go watch Dr. J in his first training camp. And that was amazing in itself. Because at that time, Dr. J didn't really have the name, he wasn't really Dr. J at that time.
Yeah.
So people didn't really, there was some buzz about this guy, but nobody really knew him like that. But after that training camp, we all knew him. That's for sure.
There was a time
his wife's he was married to a lady, Turquoise Brown.
Yeah.
And his wife's brother became a good friend of mine. He was playing at his name was James. He was playing at Virginia Union University at the time. So James and I became good friends.
Yeah, I remember Turquoise.
Yeah.
They showed her during the 1987 All-Star game. There was a tribute to Dr. J, and then there was a photo with her.
Okay. Yes.
Well.
So yeah, I became good friends with her brother.
Okay.
So this is photo. Here's an action shot from your college days. I can't see what school are you playing against.
East Tennessee, was it?
East Tennessee, I think. Yeah, if I remember correctly. Yeah. We won that game.
And of course, you've got the fro. That was your hairstyle even when you came over.
Everybody had the fro then. So
that's right.
Yeah, everybody wanted to look like Dr. J. So yeah, we all had the froze and stuff.
And by this time, you didn't mind wearing the short shorts anymore because you were a pretty good player.
I mean, I was a pretty good player, so yeah, didn't really mind it that much then. I mean, with some success, you kind of forget those small things. So yeah, didn't really mind it anymore.
Your knee was heavily bandaged here. Or is it just support?
Well, that's like old school bandaging. Everything looks heavy. It probably wasn't that bad. Probably banged my knee or something like that. Never had any really major knee problems
That's good.
in my whole career, but it was probably some banging or something.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Let's look at the next
But
photo,
I'm
please,
Yeah.
still,
folks.
as you see, I'm still playing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You
Flying
probably
high.
you
Okay.
keep
Well,
yourself fit.
yeah. Well, this is already PBA, but I just had a quick question about your professional career in the States. So you were drafted by both Buffalo in the NBA and Virginia. But
Virginia.
Yes.
was there any doubt that you would go to the NBA, or did you think about what if I play for
Actually,
my
the,
hometown
actually,
Virginia Squires?
nope. Never actually gave it a second thought.
Hmm.
Once I got drafted by the NBA, that's where my mindset was in NBA.
All right. And you had some
Now,
great
maybe
teammates as well on the Buffalo
I had
Braves. You
I
had Randy Smith,
I
Bob
had some
McAdoo. You know,
I
Gar
had
Heard.
Bob McAdoo, Gar Heard, Ernie D. Gregorio.
Yeah.
you know his
Uh,
nephew plays in the PBA now.
Mike.
Ernie, yeah,
really,
A
Mike De
nephew of
Gregorio.
really.
yeah, his
Yeah,
name's Mike D. Gregorio. This is the son of
Oh
his
my.
cousin.
he's a shooter.
Okay.
Yeah, he has
How
Filipino
crazy
blood.
is that? How crazy is that, right?
Re-
His mom's
really,
Filipina.
really.
Yeah.
Basketball is a small world.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
It is.
It's
It
a
is.
small.
It is.
It's
yeah.
a small world. Yeah, I had some really good teammates, and I was probably Randy Smith, who passed away a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Was probably my best friend on the team.
Mhm.
Did you know that Randy Smith
Uh,
actually played here in 1975 for Crispa?
he did.
Yeah, in an
No,
exhibition series actually.
oh, okay. I had no idea. Randy
Yeah.
was a top level athlete.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He was one of the better soccer players in America when he came out of college.
Mhm.
He
Wow.
could have also played professional soccer.
Mhm.
So he was a really good athlete,
Right. Right.
and we became good friends. I still keep in touch with McAdoo,
Oh, that's
Okay.
great.
and actually I'm going to do a podcast with him
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
soon.
wow.
That's nice.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still keep in touch with him.
What's the
And Gar
format of your
Heard,
podcast? Old
I
NBA?
talk to no. I just basically it's for I basically I do it with players here and Americans here that played in Finland,
Okay.
that type of thing. Yeah,
Oh,
Mhm.
great.
Wha-
And
and
how was Bob McAdoo as a teammate?
Yeah, that's
I
what I
mean,
was gonna
he was he
ask.
was he
Yeah,
was an MVP. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the
top
75 greatest now.
75. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everybody they portrayed him as a bad guy, a bad teammate, and all of that. What can you say
Mhm.
about that?
Not Bob McAdoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not at all. I don't know how he got that reputation. I would
Mhm.
say he was more of a family guy. He was married already when I got there. He had a family, so he didn't really hang out or go out that much with us. But and he was I mean he was he was a serious guy. But
Mhm.
as a teammate, he was great.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
we laugh. We still to this day we still laugh about stuff I used to say when I first played there. So no, I don't know how he got that
Yeah. Yeah.
reputation. You know, he was a serious guy. He wanted to win.
Mhm.
Uh, and yeah, I don't know about that
Yeah.
part of him being difficult. No,
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess the press just didn't treat him
Yeah.
fairly. But yeah, he was one heck of a player. That jump
Yeah.
shot was automatic.
he was.
Yep.
We used to play. We used to play a lot of. I was pretty good at. I was a pretty good one-on-one player.
Mhm.
And anytime you can shoot the ball and you can handle the ball, you're going to be a pretty good one-on-one player. So
Mhm.
I was a pretty good one-on-one player, and I used to play Mac. Never beat him. Never beat him. I beat some of the other guys, but never beat McAdoo because he had the habit of the way he shot the ball. Once you get
Mhm.
close to him and he shoot it, he gonna slap you in the face. So you had to, so you had to
Yeah,
back up on defense.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah, he was
never beat him. But yeah, it was fun playing against him.
That's great. That's great.
Mm.
No, I know we don't want to have too much time with Bernard,
Yeah.
guys, so we have to speed it
Yeah.
up a bit.
So what's the next?
Yeah,
Show the
yeah.
photo.
Let's show the next photo,
Yeah.
Claude. So this is the Philippines. You played here for a couple of seasons, 77 and 79. How did you end up in the Philippines? I mean, what happened after your contract with Buffalo? I guess that one season.
I
Where did it lead you, and then how did it translate into
I
coming to the
started
Philippines?
as I said, I started playing in the Eastern League,
Uh-huh.
which was in upstate New York and well more in, let's say, upstate Pennsylvania, close to New
Mhm.
York, in Scranton and Harrisonburg, in that area. I was playing in that league, and I was such a good player. There was a guy, I can't remember his name. He had played the year before in the Philippines. He had played for
Mm.
Tanduay, I guess,
Mhm.
and he was my teammate. And he said to me, "Man, how would you like to go to the Philippines and play?" And he told me a little bit about the league, and I said, "Sure, I'll give it a try." And that's how I got there.
He happens to be a
Okay.
white guy,
It
Bernard.
was a white guy, yeah, white guy.
Timmy Herden or Bill Bozit.
Yes, Tim,
There you
Tim
go.
yeah,
Burton.
He passed
yes,
away recently.
yeah.
Passed away
Oh,
recently.
he did?
Yeah.
Really?
And do you know he
Oh,
became
okay.
a priest? He became a Catholic
That's right.
priest.
Father Timmy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. After
Yeah,
his
that's
playing
that's
career, he became a priest.
okay. So
Mm.
that's how I got to the Philippines.
Okay.
Okay.
So
All right. That's
Tanduay got
interesting.
you. And
Yeah.
was it your first time? Obviously, it probably was your first time to come over to the Philippines, right? When you came for
Mm.
It
Tanduay.
was my first time, and I had no idea what it would be. I thought
Okay.
honestly, I guess I thought that people were living in like small huts, and I had no
Mm-hmm.
idea.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and when I got to Manila, it was like a big surprise for me. It was a nice surprise, but it was a big surprise.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There
And
were
how
like
was it? You went
tall
to practice.
buildings. Yeah.
Yeah, you went to practice, and you see these bunch of little guys. It's not one of the better teams in the league. It's about middle tier team,
Yeah.
and of course they
Well,
rely so much on the imports.
I didn't really know. I didn't really. Well, first of all, what happened was when I first got there, it took me to watch a game. I went to
Okay.
watch a game. So
Mm-hmm.
I got some idea of what the league was like, what the level would be like. I didn't know anything about the team and that type of stuff. I, as far as I was concerned, I was there to do the best I could,
Mm-hmm.
and to play, and that's all I was concerned with.
Right. Right.
Whatever happened after that, if I did my part and played the best that I could play, whatever, I want to do my part, and whatever happens after that happens.
Hmm. And you were teamed up with Gene Moore, who was an ABA vet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Played in the ABA, a
Yes,
pretty good
yes,
player as well.
I was with Gene. Yeah, yeah. Gene was a good player. We were different kinds of players, different style players.
Yeah.
Uh, Gene was more of a round the basket type of guy,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
and my I was probably a little bit more versatile on offense
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
as far
Yeah.
as being able to go inside outside. Gene was probably strong around the basket,
Hmm.
and I would say that Gene was probably more of a team player.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
When I say team player, is more of a all around player. Looking more to pass the ball. He was a pass first player. Let's put it like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Okay. Okay.
And I was more of a shoot first player.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
All right.
Well,
Yeah.
your first
And
game. What were
Yeah.
your impressions of the league when you finally got to play?
I think that I I knew it was going to be competitive for us. I think the thing that I was more impressed about more than anything was the amount of people that were there,
that's right. Mm-hmm.
watching the game, and I hadn't realized that basketball was so big in the Philippines. So I was just
Mhm.
impressed by all the people were there and all the smoke that was in the arena.
Right, right. That's right.
That's
Yeah, smoking was still allowed back
Mhm.
then and inside
smoking
the venue.
smoking
Yeah.
was smoking was still allowed.
Yeah, even the coaches.
So I think that, and besides that, there were some pretty good American players.
Mhm.
So I think that was my first impression of the league. Uh, so yeah, those were my first impressions.
Right, and
Gene
then
was like an inch taller than you, so you had to slide down to forward or power forward. Well, was this an adjustment on your end?
Not a problem at all because, like I said, I could shoot and I could handle
right,
the
Yeah,
right,
ball,
there you go.
right, right.
and though that was probably suited me even better.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I had a post up game. I could post up, but I think I was a better face to basket player.
Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, just to
And
point out, go ahead, Bernard.
I was going to say that my style of play back then was the style of play that all the big guys are using nowadays.
Exactly.
Hmm.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
And man, it just sometimes I see these guys doing nothing but shooting and perimeter game and making all this money, man. I just shake my head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
just
we we
I
we have
shake
a
I shake my head.
yeah, we have a
Yeah.
comment here actually from one of our fans. Bernard Harris is a 70s version, shooting wise, of Anthony Davis.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That kind of player.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's amazing how the game has changed,
Right, right. Yeah,
and I
but
think
yeah,
it's
look at
changed
you
for
here. Look at
for the
your
better.
leaping ability. Your head's about to hit the backboard here on the shot on the right.
Yeah, I
You know,
was a
so
good, as I said, I was a good shot blocker.
uh-huh.
Uh, I think I was a fairly good defensive player. I think I had a decent all around game.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But the offensive side of my game was probably the strongest.
Stronger
And
side, right?
ball handling, I was an excellent ball handler for my size.
Hmm.
And you didn't see big guys handling the ball back then.
Right, right.
The way I could handle the ball.
And of course, on the left, that's Cyrus Man that you're guarding. Very popular import for Crispa back in the late 70s,
Mm-hmm.
who
Yeah.
recently passed away. As most of our followers know, we posted it on our page that he passed away a couple of months ago. But so, Cyrus Man was very popular here. But you guys, you held your own against Cyrus Man and the rest of these guys. Johnny Irving and
I
all these other players.
I did. Well, my thought back then was my attitude was if you haven't if you're not in the NBA, since I played in the NBA, if you're not in the NBA, I can play with you. I should be able to hold my own.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And Cyrus was a tough guy around that basket. That's for sure on both ends of the floor. He was a great
Right.
defensive player. So he
Correct.
made it.
Correct.
He made it harder. He made it harder. But like I said, big guys during that time were not used to coming out of the lane playing defense. So usually I would have an advantage when I had the ball
Mm-hmm.
because if you backed up off of me, I'm going to shoot the jump shot. And if you came up to play defense on the perimeter, I'm going to drive around you.
Hmm.
So yeah.
So, what are your most vivid memories of your time here in the Philippines playing with Tanduay and Crispa as well? I mean, aside from the smoke and then the number of people, I mean, like on the court itself, what were your experiences compared to like the other places that you played?
Yeah. I think that my experiences in the Philippines, it was a great time for me.
Hmm.
I enjoyed the competition. The competition was good. All of the games were, even during that time, all of the games were televised. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
when we went out, we played outside of Manila. When we went to, I guess, the southern part of the Philippines, they would have parades for us and pictures on the buses, and the games were huge. Basketball was so big there. So those are the things that I remember the most. Not the actual games, but how big the games were to the people there. And that was the thing that I remember the most.
Well, let's look at the next photo, please, Claude, in the slideshow. I mean, because you did, aside from the PBA, you did play this. So this is a 1977-78 CBA championship team,
CBA. Yeah.
the Wilkes Bar Barons. So this is the season, the same season as your PBA stint, your first PBA stint, but you also
Yeah.
played for the Barons
Mhm.
that same
Yes.
year, and you
Yes.
won.
Yes. And this is probably the same team, almost the same team that Tim was. Yeah, that helped me get to the Philippines.
Mhm.
This
So
former
yeah,
PBA player there as well.
yeah, and I'll tell you a quick story that you'll probably find amusing. There's a big Filipino community here in Finland,
Okay.
Oh,
and
Wow.
and
Okay.
I actually about I'd say 7 years ago, I was a judge of a Filipino beauty contest.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. There's a big Filipino community here, and some pretty good young players, Filipino players, are being developed here.
Oh,
oh,
wow. Okay.
There's actually, I want to say, there's one or two complete Filipino teams here, not playing on the top level, but on lower levels.
Oh, wow. Okay. See, so that's great information to know. I mean,
yeah.
we don't really
So
know much
yeah,
about
yeah,
the basketball scene over there. But I'm sure. And then when
yes.
you meet the Filipinos, Bernard, when you meet the Filipinos, you tell them, "Hey, I played in the PBA, right?"
Yeah,
I'm sure you
and and
mentioned that.
and and, and they love me right away, man. It's
Exactly.
all love.
Exactly.
It's all love from that. Yeah.
That's
And I
right. That's
said,
right.
yeah, I played for Tanduay or whatever. And I actually maybe 2 seasons ago, I coached one Filipino player.
Oh, really? Okay.
So yeah, so it was all love when I said I played for Tanduay. And
Right. Right.
really, I mean, I really enjoyed my time in the Philippines.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
looking at the
There's another
photos,
former PBA player,
yeah, there
import
you
here
go.
as well, number 20, right? Paul
Mhm.
McCracken.
Paul
Paul
McCracken,
McCracken. Yeah, he played
Galleon
here too.
Shippers,
He
Galleon
eventually
Shippers.
played in the PBA also as
Mm-hmm.
well in 1980, I
Okay,
think, right?
yeah,
1980,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, he averaged like something like 50 points a game here, something like that, right, Jay? He was a
Really,
scorer.
What?
Yeah.
slightly
Yeah.
lower, yeah, but
Yeah.
he was.
What?
Yeah.
Mhm.
40 something.
How many?
40
Mhm.
something. 40 something.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, okay.
Really?
Good for him.
why do you
Good.
why do you find that
Mhm.
hard to believe?
Mhm. He was part of an
But
expansion team back then. So, the local players weren't
okay, okay, okay,
they
okay.
didn't have
He was
superstars
on.
back
He
then.
was on this. He's in this picture that we're looking at, right?
Yeah.
That's right, number 20.
Number 20.
Yeah. Because I don't remember him as that kind of player.
Oh, really?
Well, I guess when
Yeah.
you
So,
when you dump the ball into the import every time, he's probably gonna
okay.
get, yeah, something like that. Maybe
Well,
30s, high 30s, low
well,
40s
I
every
guess I
game.
guess that would depend on the imports you're playing against too.
Mhm.
That's
That's
right.
another
That's
one.
right.
Just
That's
Yeah.
because
another
you
one.
Yeah.
just because you get the ball don't mean you're gonna score.
Hmm.
So
He was like,
I
he's like
don't know,
six
but
four.
good for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
yeah, he's
he
like
Yeah.
yeah
six
he
four.
he could really score when he was here. He was
Mm.
a
Okay.
heavy
Well,
scorer.
I mean, it's kind of funny how that works sometimes,
Hmm.
Hmm.
because guys who are sometimes not big scorers or really good players in college become good NBA players.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Guys who are not so good in high school become good college players.
Hmm.
So it can become good college players. So it works a little different sometimes. Yeah, but good for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So most,
Your jersey number is 32 here, but you used to before that it was 42, right? You used 42 with VCU and you used
I
42 with
used
Tanduay as
42
well.
with VCU. I used 30. I used 30 in high school.
Okay.
Mm.
I couldn't get 30 at VCU, so I chose 42.
Okay. Let's jump to the next photo, please,
yeah.
Claudes. This is still with Tanduay. There's Snake Jones. You mentioned him on the right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Snake
Okay.
Jones going after the ball.
Yeah.
I believe
Snake was a good
that's
player.
yeah, yeah.
This guy I'm talking about who was a good shooter. His last name was Gutierrez. I
Oh,
just
Abet.
I
Abed.
just remember.
Abed
Mm.
Gutierrez.
Yeah.
Abed Gutierrez.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. We were we
he
were
played till about 86, 87. Yeah, he played there.
okay. We were good friends, so we became good friends too. I
You know,
used to take me
we're looking for
to
him.
his house.
We're searching for him.
Yeah. We're looking
Okay.
for him. The guest
Yeah,
here.
to
We,
guest
we
him on our show.
Yeah, he used to take me to his house, and those guys were really nice guys,
Mm.
my teammates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Abed
think we have
Gutierrez,
photos. Yeah. I
he
think we
was
have
great
photos of
under
the
the
teammates.
basket as well, Bernard. He was great under the basket. He was pretty good
Mm-hmm.
with those
True.
reverses and this and that.
True.
Prince
Um,
True.
Valiant hairdo.
Yes.
and then
Yeah. Prince
Jay,
Valiant. Yeah.
the guy on the right, when they're chasing the ball, that's Snake Jones, and the other guy is that Joy Cleophas?
It
Um.
is. It is. It is.
That's Joy.
Yes, number
That's
It
Joy.
16.
Yeah.
is.
That's right.
It is. Yes. It is.
Another good shooter. Another good
Yeah.
shooter. Joy
Former
Cleophas.
national team
Yes.
member.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. You remember. Okay. Then on the left, they're
Yeah.
playing against the Prefto team. I can't identify the players.
I think that's Jim Hearns, if I'm not mistaken, number 34.
Number 34, Jim Hearns. Okay.
That's right.
Oh
Jumping
yeah.
Jim
Okay.
Hearns.
Another
Yeah.
scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Phenomenal scorer. Yeah.
I like these photos though. You've seen these photos before, Bernard, or is this the first time you've seen these photos?
I have seen,
You've seen it.
especially the
Okay.
one on the left. I've seen before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's
Good
the
form,
name on
huh?
the jersey? What's the name? Ah, Tanduay. There's a big
Tanduay,
T.
yeah.
Okay.
Tanduay.
The
That's
big T. The
Tanduay.
T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TS2.
Those were actually nice jerseys. Quite nice
Yeah.
uniforms.
Portland.
Exactly. I
Portland
was about to say
Yeah.
Trailblazers, right?
it's like the Portland Trailblazers uniform.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
It
Yeah.
was based after. Yeah.
And then Snake, of
Okay.
course. Snake Jones is there. Everyone
You
remembers
played with
Snake
both
Jones.
hands, right? You can score with your right or your left.
You asked me, can I score with my right or my left?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
because I
Mhm.
love to score. So I wouldn't limit myself to.
Right.
I wouldn't limit myself to one
Right.
hand.
Right. Right. Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not. I couldn't. I would say if you're just talking about shooting a jump shot, no.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're talking
Yeah.
about like a jump hook or something
Uh,
like that, yeah, of course, yeah,
Okay.
okay.
And what's your
or a
philosophy
layup, yeah.
behind the wristband? Why do you use the wristband?
Just to basically wipe the sweat off my
Yeah.
face.
Okay.
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 All right.
Yeah. Because a
Yeah,
lot
and
of the
it
players
kind of,
now they hardly wear that now.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, the uniforms are so much better
Yeah.
nowadays
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah. So
you see a lot of guys wiping their hands on their jerseys and stuff nowadays. So yeah,
That's right.
that's right. That's right.
they yeah.
That's the first part of our time capsule. We've got some more photos coming up. That was brought to us by House Roast Chicken, Champ's House of Chicken. And then are we gonna do the halftime slides now quickly, or do we just jump into the next one? Yeah, catch Next Man Up. It's another show on the network. We're on Spotify. Give us some love on Spotify, please. 5-star ratings. Next slide, come on. And then what else? What's the next slide? Yeah, become an AEOB podcast monthly supporter for $4.99 or 250 pesos, and we will recognize you in our future episodes. And Globally Ballin Southeast Asia Facebook page, for tidbits of all the shows on the network. Second half of the time capsule is brought to us by Ni Hao Bread Bakery in Tagaytay. Lots of bread, nice stuff over there. You can order by their social media, Facebook and Instagram. So that's the number you can call for all the bread products of Ni Hao Bread Bakery. Next photo, please. Let's enter the next. Here's a party with your Tanduay guys, Bernard.
Okay.
You guys are sitting.
It's probably I'm not sure, but they threw a birthday. My girlfriend came to visit me, and
Okay.
it was her birthday, and they threw a birthday party for her.
Okay.
And the picture on the right is definitely at the party.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That was coach. What was the coach's name?
Kaloy
Kaloy
Loisaga.
Loisaga.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
Doming
So
Ichon.
the pitcher on the right is definitely the party. Yes,
Mhm.
And then Doming Ichon on the left.
That's
That's
right.
the fellow on
PBA
the left.
president back then. Yeah.
In the
yes,
picture
yes,
on
he
the
was. Yes, he was.
the
Yes,
picture on the
he
left, that's
was.
Abet Gutierrez. The guy on the right
Yeah,
with the shades is Abet Gutierrez.
That's
Oh,
yeah.
right.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then
That was a good party. That was a good party they threw for us.
Yeah,
then you have Mike
yeah,
Bilbao, right, on the
yeah.
left.
Bert De La
Yeah.
Rosa.
Bert De
Bert
La
De La
Rosa.
Rosa and Bochok, right? Is that Bochok? No, no,
Yeah,
no. That's
I'm
not
guessing it's
Castillo,
Bocho.
or not Castillo.
No,
So
no,
it
no,
might be
no,
not
no. That's
You
not.
Castillo.
got
So
you
Maybe
guys are
Bocho.
you're bringing back some good memories, man.
that's what we do. That's what we do here. That's how it goes
Oh,
on
You
this
bring
show. That's what we try to
yeah,
do.
yeah. That's great.
you know where this is? Do you remember where this is?
On the left?
On the,
No,
on
I
the
don't.
where
The
the party
location
was.
where the party was.
The party was in the hotel. I think it was called Hillarmy, Gillarmy,
Oh, Hilarmi
Hillarmy.
Apartments. Yeah, the Hilarmi
There you
Okay, okay.
go. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
that you
Wow.
And
remember.
Long time.
the the strange thing about that was the owner's wife was Finnish.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
She was Miss Finland,
wow.
and she had
Wow.
married this Gillarmy or Hillarmy or whatever his name was.
Mm-hmm.
That was her husband, and they owned the hotel that I stayed in.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And she
Okay.
had pictures of Finland in the elevators and stuff.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You know this. Your
So
coach here, your coach Kaloy Loizaga. His two sons played in the PBA. Few years
Yeah,
after you left.
oh, okay, okay, were they good
Yeah.
players?
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty good players, both
They
of
had
them.
long careers. They became teammates and won a couple of championships together.
Oh, nice,
Their
nice.
coach was Jaworski.
Yeah.
Yeah, their coach was
Oh,
Jaworski.
nice, nice. Okay, nice, good. Yeah,
What?
that's
Look
yeah.
at you guys. You're so serious. You and Gene Moore in that picture
Yeah.
on the right. You guys look. I mean, it's a party, but you guys look like old business. Like you're about to play a game.
Nah, we weren't that serious.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Maybe they just caught us off guard or something.
yeah, yeah. Because you
We
got your
weren't
arms. You got
we
your
weren't
arms
that
folded. You know.
Mhm.
yeah we weren't that serious.
I
Nah.
guess I like the rap thing.
What are your memories of Kaloy Loizaga as your coach?
Mhm.
Because here he's regarded as probably the greatest Filipino basketball player ever. But how was he as a coach?
Uh, I would say I would say he was probably a player's coach.
Mhm.
Okay.
Pretty calm guy.
Mhm.
Uh, didn't see him get upset a lot, compared to what I had seen coming from America. So I would say he was more of a player's coach. Yes,
Mhm.
good coach, good coach. Easy to easy to get along with. Uh, he seemed to enjoy what he was doing,
Mhm.
and he was a good leader.
Right. Right. Well, we're trying to
Right.
So
get him
he's
into
considered he's
the International Basketball Hall of Fame. So
he's
Mhm.
he's considered
yeah.
he's considered the best coach ever.
Player,
The best
No,
player
the
ever.
best player,
best basketball player
He
ever,
was
the
Filipino
part of
best
the
basketball
player
player.
ever.
mythical.
Player,
He was
Yeah,
part of the mythical
really?
Yeah.
team back in the 1954 World Basketball Championships.
he made
Okay,
a
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So we're
All right.
campaigning for him to be in
Yeah,
the FIBA
I can
Basketball
see
Hall
it.
of Fame now.
Well,
So
I
hopefully
hope
we
he
get
makes
him.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
I
I
hope so
hope I
because
hope he
the
makes it.
Philippines is hosting the Basketball World Cup this year, Bernard, in August.
That's right.
So all the basketball
Really?
teams from all over the world are coming here in August. So maybe you want to come over.
Okay.
Guess
Yeah.
your reason
Yeah,
to come over.
Yeah.
that would be great because I guess the Finnish team will be there too.
I think they qualify. I think Finland did, right, guys,
Let me
Yeah,
check.
they
for
qualified.
the World
They
Cup. I
Uh,
think
qualified.
they did. Yeah, yeah,
There
they
you
They
did.
go.
Yeah,
qualified.
so
Laurie
it was
Markkinen.
big news.
well, it depends on where they're
Yeah.
gonna play, though. I mean, we're
Yeah, the night.
co-hosting with Japan
Yeah,
and Indonesia, so
Mhm.
depending on
Okay.
the draw,
Okay.
yeah,
they
yeah.
might be assigned to one of
Okay,
those two other countries. But we'll see if they play here.
yeah,
Maybe you should come over.
yeah, yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
I
right. What's it?
Lowry
Mhm.
Markkinen is
Markkanen,
is
yeah.
is playing really good now. He's
Oh
playing
yeah,
Yeah,
really
he's
good.
playing
49.
crazy.
I
just scored
coach I
49.
coached I I coached against him when he was around 15 or 16. And
Okay.
at that time, you could see that he was a special player. I played against his father. Their whole
Oh, okay.
family is athletic and top sports athletes. Lowry's brother plays professional soccer. And his mom was an athlete too. So he comes from an athletic family.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, here's some more action photos of your days here in the Philippines. That's Johnny Irving with the
Okay.
headband on the right.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that's
77.
Toyota. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
Tanduay versus Toyota. I don't know who's the guy on the left, who's defending you on the left. So these are the
This
action
is
pics we saw.
Honda, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sure.
I
But
think that's a Honda logo.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
I'm
James
just
not
a
Day.
sure.
couple
I'm
more.
not sure. I
But
think it's James Day.
Yeah.
Toyota
So you,
had some top level teams.
Mhm.
yeah, they did. They
Yeah.
did. It was Toyota and Crispa really dominating during that time. Utex a little bit, but it was
Yeah.
really the Toyota and
Yeah,
Crispa days when you were here.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I was
So
yeah.
about to ask you the local players from the other teams. Who do you remember who stood out for you?
Jaworski and a toy Colt.
Atoiko. Okay.
Mm.
right.
Yeah, from Crispa and from Toyota and Crispa. Yeah, both of them won and the MVP back to back,
Back to back.
78 and 79.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
those were probably the two that stood out the most
Yeah.
to me.
Bernard,
Right.
in 1979, you were playing for Tanduay, and then Tanduay got eliminated for the third conference. Crispa got you. Now, what was the well, how was the transaction like? In other words, did Crispa just get in touch with you, and they invited you to play so that you can play in the third conference? How did that come about?
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking for a player, and they knew that we had gotten eliminated. Tanguay had gotten eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
So they asked me if I wanted to play, and I said, "Sure, why not? Extra money." Uh,
Okay.
Right. Right.
yeah. Sure. Yeah, I said, "Why not?"
And did
And
you
and
ever ask them
and
why you were replacing Cyrus Man?
Yeah.
no, I
Did they
didn't.
tell you?
Actually, no,
Okay.
no, no, I didn't. I guess there was something going on. All I know was Cyrus wasn't there, and they
Mm-hmm.
needed a player, and yeah, I filled in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's all business, right? Obviously, I
Yeah.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't
Yeah, yeah,
matter.
yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter
It
anymore. Why?
doesn't. Yeah, it
Although
didn't really. It didn't.
yeah,
It
stories came
didn't.
out
Didn't
later.
really. Uh, well, it didn't really matter to me. I mean,
Yeah.
he wasn't there. They needed another player, and I was available.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's right. That's right. Okay.
And you were
After
second place.
your yeah,
Go
yeah,
on,
right.
man.
You
Sorry,
guys
go
got second place there.
on.
You after your Philippines stint, and then you ended up going to Finland, and well, now we can say the rest is history because you are a Hall of Famer in
Mm-hmm.
Finland. But how was that? I mean, you did fall in love, or you were attracted to Finland when you went the first time, and you find yourself there several years later,
It's
and
it's
then
it's
yeah. What's the
yeah.
story? Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. What's the story there?
I really don't know because I love warm weather. So I don't know what the story is on on it exactly. Um, the first part of it was interesting. I was at home, and in the summertime, an agent called me up and he said, "How would you like to go somewhere where there's a lot of pretty girls and make some money?" And I said, "Where?" And he said, "Finland." So I had some fond memories of Finland from the trip we had with the U.S. national team. So I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And that was in maybe August or something like that. I was supposed to leave to come to Finland in September.
Mm-hmm.
All of my friends were telling me, it's going to be really cold and you need to take a lot of heavy clothes and stuff. And I said, nah, nah, nah. I've already been there. And the sun was shining 24 hours of daylight. It was warm. Everything's good. I don't need a lot of heavy clothes.
Uh-huh.
So I came to Finland September the 18th. and I didn't really bring any heavy clothes, any winter clothes with me.
Mhm.
And about I would say 3 weeks later, maybe there was like a foot of snow. There was snow everywhere, so I was totally unprepared. I was walking outside, and a snowflake hit me in the face, and I actually thought someone had thrown something at me. That's how big the snowflake was. So I said to
Was it
myself then,
was it the flake?
I thought yeah, it was a flake. I thought I had died and gone to hell. But so I said, no, I'm never coming back here. Um, but I made a lot of friends here, kind of enjoyed it. And the next year I ended up coming back. We won the championship.
Mhm.
And I turned down a job in Belgium, actually, that was paying more money to come back to Finland to play. We won the championship. And from then on, one year turned into another year. It's like 2 years turns into 5 years. I ended up getting married uh, after my maybe coming here for 10 years. I wasn't really living here at the time. I was playing here and then going home after the season.
Mhm.
I got married in 1990, and then I ended up living here because I have a daughter. She was born in 1993. So that's basically when I ended up living here. I got my
Mhm.
Finnish citizenship, so I started playing as a Finn, and I ended up playing here. I retired at 47.
Wow.
Okay.
1990s.
And
Mhm.
yeah, I retired at 47. I became a head coach, top level head coach. And then when I was 52, I was coaching a team and we had a lot of injuries. And I came back and started to play again at the age of 52.
Wow.
I played
Wow.
about
Incredible.
I played maybe 5 6 games, something like it was kind of in the middle of the season. And I
Mhm.
think that set probably a European record. Um, and so I ended up my last games of playing at the top level was at the age 52.
Wow,
Phenomenal.
that's crazy. And
Even older than
you
Honey.
still,
Mhm.
yeah, do you still
Oh wow.
dabble in basketball now? I mean, playing, because I know you coach and you have that program of yours.
I don't play anymore.
Uh-huh.
I hurt my back about I don't
Mm.
know 5 6 years ago, so
Okay.
I don't really play anymore. I basically go to the gym and work out and
Uh-huh.
do that type of stuff.
Right.
I don't play anymore.
I love this photo on the right. It's
Mhm.
like you're playing with so much joy. I don't know who you're pointing at. Obviously, the cameraman captured you, but it's
Well,
really
yeah,
nice.
yeah. I
Really nice photo.
that's during the time when you're getting a little older and you kind of appreciate every game that you can play.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
It's after making a 3-point shot, probably.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that might have been the time when I came back and started to play again, or it could have been a little
Yeah.
bit before that. But it was a time when you kind of enjoy playing against the younger guys and that type of stuff.
And
Mhm.
still being able to compete, right?
Yeah.
What's the next photo, Claude? Let's look at it. And then here's the Hall of Fame. How does that feel? I mean, Bernard. I mean, you're an American. You played in the NBA, but then you find yourself playing for the Finnish teams, and then you're a Hall of Famer. How was it? How much of an
Mhm.
honor was that for you?
It's for me it was a big honor. It feels great. I mean, it's going to be a part of history,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it shows it shows appreciation for what I've done in basketball here. So it's my second Hall of Fame award. I'm a Hall of Famer at VCU.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So for me, that felt really good. It felt really good. and it still feels good. I mean, it happened. It actually happened on my birthday in November, which is November the 26th.
Mhm.
Yep.
So
We
that's
share
when
the
I
same. We share a birthday,
Exactly.
Bernard.
Exactly.
We share a birthday.
Oh well, that that automatically makes you a good man.
Oh, definitely. I was gonna say the same. I was gonna say the same thing about you.
Well,
So,
thank you. But yeah,
yeah. So,
that's for me, it's a big honor.
and we congratulate you for that, of course. And that's a great achievement, no matter what country,
Yeah.
which Hall of Fame you're in. I'm sure
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
pretty awesome.
Exactly,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Bernard's busy, guys, with a grassroots program called Get in
Mm.
the Game. Can you tell us about that, Bernard, just for everyone's
Yeah.
information?
As you see right here, get in the game. I started the Get in the Game project about I think 2003, and basically I started out going to various schools, speaking to the kids about the dangers of alcohol and drug use and positive attitude and knowing how to take care of yourself in certain situations when you if you're going to go out at night, these type of things. That's how the Get in the Game project started.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And how what are the ages of the players who are in the program?
There were basically no players in the program. This was basically
Okay,
me speaking to high
okay,
school
Mm.
okay. I get it. I
students.
get it. All right.
uh yeah, about the dangers of alcohol and drug
Nice,
use,
nice, nice.
Mhm.
because
Okay.
there's a
Mhm.
big problem with alcohol in Finland. You
Okay,
don't
Ah,
hear so
okay.
okay.
much about it. You don't hear so much about it nowadays. It's more drugs are becoming more prevalent nowadays. You don't hear so much about the alcohol. But this is how I got started with the Get in the Game project.
Okay.
Just going to different schools, and I would always, when I said there was no players involved, what I meant was there was no players that I was actually speaking to.
Hmm.
I would always try to take with me a local player. If I'm in Helsinki, I would try to take someone who's really well known in Helsinki, or if I'm in another part of Finland, I would take somebody with me who was well known, and we would just speak about our experiences growing up in the States and this type of stuff.
Okay. Okay. Great. Well, kudos to you for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
gotta help out the kids.
the teachers loved it. The teachers loved it, and that branched off into started with that branched off into the Get in the Game basketball camp, which I make free for all kids. I'm probably the only one in Finland who has free camps for kids. Uh,
Okay.
Everybody else is basically charging.
Mhm.
I made about 8 9 years ago. I made a DVD. DVDs were popular then. I made
Uh-huh.
a DVD about anti-doping, to try to show young people that not all athletes are, you don't have to be doping to be a top level athlete, that there are
Okay.
still some clean athletes in the world. And in that project, I had some of Finland's top athletes. I had the um, the ice hockey Jukka Jalonen, who's a world champion ice hockey coach. I had Tero Pitkämäki, who's a world champion in the javelin throw.
Okay.
I had several NHL ice hockey players, basketball players, just a lot of really good names to help me with the project.
That's great.
Okay. Okay. Amazing.
Good one.
Well,
Good one.
Yeah,
congratulations to that, and
yeah. So,
hoping that
well,
can continue.
thank
Yeah.
you.
So,
Yeah,
well, guys, any last questions for Bernard before we get into our final segments on the show, guys?
I'm good.
Huh?
No,
How about
I'm
you,
good. I'm
Sid?
good.
You're good. Okay,
I'm good. I'm good.
Bernard. Before we let you go, we have some regular segments here on the show. So we're gonna enter what we call now the Twilight Zone. That means we're about to end. The first part of our Twilight Zone is called X's or O's. Okay, it's brought to us by Hinalaban Farms. Check them out on Lazada, Shopee, and hinalabanstore.com for their products like coffee, flour, and adlai. Okay, so Bernard, I'm just going to give you some choices. I'm going to go down a list of choices. You tell me which one is your choice. You don't have to explain. You just pick one from the
Okay.
choices I'm going to give
Okay.
you. Okay, number one is Freddie Webb, Rene Canet, or Mike Bilbao.
Freddie Webb.
Freddie Webb. Okay. Before I move on, just a short story. You told me when we were talking some weeks ago, Bernard. Freddie Webb is a reason you bought your first Mercedes Benz. Just shortly, can you
He
just tell
certainly
us?
he certainly was. He used to take me to lunch sometimes,
Okay.
and he would always be driving his Mercedes. I remember it was kind of a burgundy type color,
Mhm.
and he would always be driving that, and that's what made me fall in love with Mercedes. He had it was a S class.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was a 280S, but it was a S class Mercedes, and that's how I fell in love with Mercedes.
Four doors.
All
Four
right.
door.
It was four door, yeah,
Yeah.
the biggest
Okay.
one they made at the time, the S class, which is the biggest Mercedes that they make anyway, besides the Maybach, besides
Yeah.
the Maybach.
All right. All right. Okay. Okay. Oh, now we got to get into the second one. Okay. Number two, Coach Kaloy Loizaga with Tanduay or Coach Baby Dalupan with Crispa.
Coach Galore, of course.
Okay. Coach Kaloy. Okay. Do you? I don't know if you remember the owners, Don Manolo Elizalde of Tanduay or Danny Floro of Crispa.
Say that again.
Don Manolo Elizalde, the old man for Tanduay, and then Danny Floro for
Yeah,
Crispa.
Tanduay.
Tanduay.
Yeah,
Okay, Don
yeah.
Manolo.
I kind of
Gene
remember him. Yes,
Moore, Gene Moore or Irv Chapman.
Gene Moore.
Gene Moore. Okay.
Mm.
Abit Gutierrez with Tanduay or Philip Cesar with Crispa.
Philip Cesar.
Philip Cesar. Okay.
Mm.
Atoy Ko or Freddy Hubalde.
Toy Cole.
Atoy
Mm.
Ko. Yeah. Okay. George Berry or Merlin Wilson.
George Berry.
George Berry.
Mm.
Okay. Crispa or Tanduay.
Tanduay.
Mhm.
Tanduay. Joy
I played for
Cleophas
them.
or
I played for them longer.
right,
Okay.
right. Joy Cleophas or Abet Gutierrez.
Albert Gutierrez.
Okay. I'm sure you're gonna answer this. I know what you're gonna say. Offense or defense? Yeah. Okay. I know. I know the answer. Okay. Let's go to the next one.
Offense.
We'll go to the
Offense.
next one. Yeah, I know. Lakers or Celtics?
Lakers.
Lakers. Okay.
Mm.
Julius Irving or David Thompson?
Julius Irving.
Julius Irving. Starting or coming off the bench?
Starting.
Starting. Bill Walton or Bob McAdoo?
Bob McAdoo.
Bob McAdoo. Nate Archibald or Walt Frazier?
Walt Frazier.
Walt Frazier.
Mm.
And this last one, Al Pacino or Robert De Niro?
Robert De Niro.
Robert
There
De
you
Niro's
go.
waiting.
Mhm.
Okay, that's X's or O's for episode 159 of this show, AEOB. I'm going to turn it over now to Jay Mercado. Go, Jay.
Yeah. The next segment is called Seryosong Tanong segment. Brought to you by Seryoso Tanong chili garlic sauce. Delicious, aromatic, and crispy chili garlic bits in pure coconut oil made with naturally, locally sourced ingredients. No preservatives, no artificial flavorings, and no salt. And ito ang chili garlic ng seryosong manghang at kaya kang ipaglaban di gaya ng ex mo. My question,
Yeah.
my serious question for you, Bernard, is that among all the imports that you played against here in the PBA, who do you regard as the best?
I'm going to say Larry McNeil.
There you go, 79 Gilbies. Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
What do you
Um,
remember with
yeah.
with Larry?
or what was his name? Dean
Dean
Tollinger.
Tolson.
Dean
Yeah,
Oh,
Tolson.
Tolson.
well, I was about to
Yeah,
say, I was about to mention Dean Tolson to you because you guys were drafted into the
yeah,
NBA the same year,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
74.
and he's
Mhm.
yeah.
been on the show.
And
He's been
and
on the show, by the
and,
way.
and I used to keep in touch with Dean. Haven't spoken to him in a long time, but yeah,
Very
Dean's a
good.
good guy.
Uh-huh. What
Yeah,
made them so tough to play against?
But
What?
Mhm.
Larry McNeil, I would say Larry McNeil.
Mhm.
Dean was a good all around player.
Mhm.
Really good athlete at the time. Good jumper. Uh, so he was really good athlete.
Mhm. Okay.
yeah,
You
yeah. He's
okay,
writing
Jay?
a
That's
book.
it. You're good, Jay?
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Dean Tolson's writing a book now. He's
Yeah,
about his life.
That's right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
Okay, okay.
we might
A,
help
yeah.
bu-
him
a
out
book,
in
a book,
a bit
a
of that.
book about what?
Oh, his autobiography.
Autobiography.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Monographs.
I can see.
Mhm.
yeah.
I can see that. I can see that.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, I can see that one. Well, if you talk to him, tell him I said hello.
I'll
Okay.
message
Yeah.
him right
Will
after
do.
the show. I'll tell him
Will do.
that you've been on the show. I'll send him the
Do,
link
do
so he
you
can watch
do you have
your
do
episode.
you have a contact for him?
I'll give it to you. I'll send it to you later on,
Okay, please
Bernard.
do that.
Okay.
Please do that.
Yeah, I will.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Great to
right.
hear. Mhm.
Okay. So that was
Seryoso
Seryosong Tanong.
Tanong by Seryoso Chili Garlic Sauce. Thank you. Mhm.
Okay. Sid, your
Mhm.
turn.
Okay, Bernard. My question is, if you had a chance to have dinner with a basketball player, past or present, living or dead, who would it be and why?
I would say probably that's a tough one, but I'm going to say probably it would be between Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
Mm,
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
one of those between one of those two. I would go with probably LeBron
So what would you
for the
talk about?
simple fact that LeBron probably has more humor. But yeah, I would say probably most likely LeBron.
Mhm.
And
okay.
what would you
Even
talk
even
about?
though even though I think Mike is the GOAT.
Uh-huh.
Mm,
Mhm.
What would I talk about?
Hmm.
Uh, that's well, I would probably ask him. I mean, we'd probably discuss how he sees the game nowadays from
mm,
when he started.
Mhm.
Did he ever think that he would reach the level that he reached? How did he reach that level? What's the driving force behind him?
Hmm.
You guys. I mean, I think people outside of the NBA don't realize how hard it is to play that many games at a top level,
Right.
to be expected to play good for that amount of games. When guys like that, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Kevin Durant, all these guys, nobody expects for them to have bad games.
Mhm.
Hmm.
mm.
Everybody wants to see these guys go and play at their best. And for a 82 game season, that's tough. That is really tough. So you need some type of special driving force to be able to do that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
LeBron.
Good point.
Huh?
Mhm.
LeBron's
Although
your
Yeah,
guy.
you,
Okay.
yeah,
LeBron.
although
Even
you
though I
made,
think
Yeah.
yeah,
Jordan was the better player, but
yeah,
probably dinner with LeBron.
yeah.
Mhm.
You just
Uh-huh.
made Jay Marcado's day by saying you think Jordan is a better player because he's a diehard Bulls fan.
He's a he's a diehard
Okay,
Bulls fan.
okay,
Yeah.
Since
yeah,
Yeah. For some
75.
reason. For some reason. Okay.
yeah.
So that was the those are the questions, and then before we let you go again, we have this last segment called "Hello, Porky." This is the greetings portion, Bernard. Because you had a long career in basketball, it's I'm sure there are people you want to thank, to acknowledge, or just to say hello to. You can do that now before we let you go.
Well, I would like to say hello to basically all the guys in the Philippines that I played with. all the people that I got to know, and just to let them know that I certainly enjoyed my time there, and Manila is still dear in my heart.
Alright.
We'll see you again
And
here.
a special thumbs up for Freddie Webb.
All right, okay, and I'll let him
Mm.
know as well. I'll let him know that
Yeah.
you were on the show. I'll
Maybe you
send
can
him the link.
reconnect him with
Okay.
him, Charles.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell him about the Mercedes story. So
Yeah.
Yes.
he knows that
Yes. Yes.
he left a mark. He
Please,
left a mark
please,
on you.
please do. And I have there's another guy that I always will remember. I don't remember his last name. His first name was Ramon, and he was the guy who was actually my driver, drove me
Okay.
around everywhere.
I see. Okay.
And man, we had a blast. We had a blast with him. So
I'm
I
sure.
will always remember him too. So if Ramon is listening to this, he knows who I'm talking about. And
Mhm.
yeah,
All right, all right. Well, I hope so. I hope he
Uh,
listens and he finds
yeah.
out that,
your
that
Let's
your
hope.
Bernard
dad
Yeah,
remembers
might
him.
yeah,
remember, Charlie.
Yeah, yeah.
Your
I'll
dad
ask my
might
dad.
remember.
He might know who drove you around,
yeah,
Bernard,
yeah,
because
Yeah.
he
yeah,
was with the
yeah.
same
Maybe
company.
maybe you could ask.
All right.
He was a really good guy, funny guy. We had a
That's
ball.
great. That's great. That's great. So that's a story of Bernard Harris, Super Nard. What a great career.
Yeah.
Played in the NBA, played in the Philippines for Crispa and Tanduay, of course, and then a Finnish Hall of Famer in
Yep.
that country. And he's still there now, and it's really early in the morning there, so we're gonna let him go. But before that, we say
It's early.
yeah. Yeah, thank you to PBA Archives and PH Sports Bureau, of course, for helping us out. We are part of the Globally Ballin Network. We're powered by San Miguel Corporation, SMC, in cooperation with Hinalaban, Champs, Nihao, and Serioso Chili Garlic. If anybody wants to sponsor any of our segments, please just get in touch with us. Send us a message on our Facebook page. And happy birthday to past guests who celebrated their birthday since our last show in 2022. Senator Nikki Cositeng, Raymond Townsend, Al Solis, Eric Reyes, Manny Victorino, Elmer Reyes, Felix Flores, Michael Young, Tito Varela, Tonichi Ituri, B-Boy Ravanes, and Maki De Hoya, whose
Whew,
birthday it is today.
long
It's his
list.
birthday today.
Mm-hmm.
So happy birthday, Maki De Hoya. And of course, it's the birthday of my son as well. So happy birthday to my boy,
Happy birthday,
Juancho.
Wancho.
His birthday today.
Happy birthday,
Um,
Wancho.
so that does it for our episode 159 with Bernard Harris. Thank you so much, Bernard, for sharing your story. We'll always be thankful forever. I know it's tough to get up so early in the morning, but you did it for us and for the Filipino fans. So
Yes, of course,
as we
of course.
say,
Yeah,
maraming
had
salamat.
to
As
do
we
it.
say, mabuhay ka. So thanks
Thank
so
you.
much for Jay Mercado and Sid Ventura.
Yep.
I'm Charlie Cuna. Thank you everyone for joining us for our first episode of 2023. AEOB continues, and we'll announce our next guest as soon as we can on our Facebook page. So please wait for that. We'll see you next week.
Happy New
Mabuhay.
Year.
God bless you all. Happy New Year,
Happy
everyone.
New Year,
Bernard,
guys.
thank you so much. I'll
Thank you,
send you
sir.
Dean
Bye.
Tolson's
Thank
contact details.
thank you
All right.
guys. Thank you.
Bernie,
Bye.
Yep.
Bernie, thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
Claudes.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.